Hey, what's going on, Indy Metro Church? Pastor Jared here. I just want to give you a quick update on the 2022 Big Give. But before I jump into that, let me take a moment and just thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the generosity that you have shown so far in 2022. It's because of you prioritizing the way of Jesus that we have so much to celebrate as a faith community in the greater city of Indianapolis, where we've got to participate alongside God in His mission in multiple ways, and even at the world level, the world at large. So again, thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your continued faithful giving to helping Indy Metro in our mission to help people know and follow Jesus. So with that being said, let's focus on the Big Give. For some of you, maybe you're newer to Indy Metro and you have no idea what the Big Give is. Well, the Big Give is a special year-end offering that we participate with every year as a faith community in order to live counterculturally. During this time of year, the focus is all on consumerism, about spending, about getting presents. But what if we flip that on its head? What if instead we made this season about giving, about thinking about not being consumers, but being generous, following in the way of Jesus? The first $6,000 in this year's Big Give is going to be set aside to support Love Guatemala. This long-term missional partner in Magdalena, Guatemala is a former ministry of Indy Metro Church. But through God's blessing, it's grown into its own nonprofit, now partnering with churches and faith communities all over the world. The mission of Love Guatemala is bringing the hope of Jesus to Guatemalans through holistic development. Currently, Love Guatemala is serving over 200 students in their elementary, middle, and high school educational programs, in addition to feeding over 50 children in the community each week with their feeding center. Before COVID hit, Love Guatemala offered the community vocational training like a cooking and an art and a carpentry school that community members could enroll in. But because of the unbelievable strain that COVID placed on Magdalena's educational system, Love Guatemala had to pivot and place a larger emphasis on the educational needs of their community. Through the generosity of people like you, the hope for 2023 is that Love Guatemala can once again reestablish some of the vocational schools that they are once thriving in. So would you consider being extra generous, stretching yourself in how much you're giving in order to join God in His mission there in Love Guatemala? The second $6,000 that comes in during this year's Big Give will be set aside for Nueva Vita, a church planting network. In addition to the educational and vocational training happening in Guatemala, Ben and Jennifer Kunkel, our long-term missionaries in Guatemala, they're transitioning out of their roles at Love Guatemala and into full-time church planting. Ben's vision is to train and equip indigenous leaders so that churches can be established, so that community members can be shepherded in the way of Christ. And what a thing to celebrate, right? That the long-term investment in Guatemala is creating a need for more churches to be created. See, even though as a church, Indy Metro, we are a small faith community, we've had such large opportunities to join with God in His work in Guatemala. So again, would you consider being extra generous this holiday season as we continue to partner with the Lord in what He's doing there in Guatemala? In addition to the $12,000 that we're setting aside specifically for mission work in Guatemala, we also have a goal of an extra $3,000 coming in to pay towards the building. See, for the first time in the history of our church, we own our own space. In the past, we've set aside a portion of our Big Give for future vision, but guess what? What was once a future vision is now the present reality. And although we can comfortably make minimum payments, the more we set aside now, the less that we're going to end up paying in interest over the long term. And that's going to free up even more money for mission. So with that in mind, it's also not too early to start thinking about what your giving in 2023 is going to look like. If every person who calls Indy Metro Church home, if everyone would just give 7% more than what they're giving right now, we could easily make the mortgage payments of our building. That means if you're giving $100 now, would you consider giving $107? If your monthly gift is $500, would you consider giving $535? Again, generosity, giving, the purpose isn't to make a budget's loose ends meet, right? The primary purpose is our discipleship. It's throwing off the ways of the world, refusing to be discipled by our culture, which says it's about spending and accumulating and amassing, and said, no, it's about loving and self-sacrificially giving. That's the way of Jesus. So maybe you're comfortable right now in what you're giving to the church. That's totally fine. Would you consider increasing your giving to one of our various ministry partners? Would you give more to Love Guatemala? What about Elevate Indy or Unconditional, maybe the Lynn House or 91 Place? There's so many good, great things happening in the city right now that you can support, that you can link arms with. So again, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a people of generosity. It is my great pride and pleasure to be your pastor. You make it so easy. Thank you for your generosity. And I can't wait to see how you all surprise me in this year's Big Give.